Hey everyone, this is John Peterson. Thanks for joining us on the Mindset Podcast. Today I want to introduce you to our sponsor, Tom Sherman with Benchmark Mortgage. This guy's amazing. He's opened up his office here for us to use as a studio. So Tom, tell us about yourself.
Hey, thanks so much, John. Tom Sherman with Benchmark Mortgage. I've been in the mortgage business for 25 years, and I like to refer to myself as a financial partner. So often when you introduce someone as a mortgage lender, it has all kinds of negative connotation, right? So I like to say, introduce us as your financial partner. And our goal is to help your clients be better stewards of their resources. My ultimate goal is to help people reach financial freedom. And we do that through the process of borrowing money and ultimately paying that debt off.
I love it.
So
how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, best way to reach me is my email, tom.sherman@benchmark.us. tom.sherman@benchmark.us.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you again opening up your office to us, and enjoy the show.
Thank you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Today I have Kim Wallace, and she's my insurance person. So you'll hear me talk from time to time about your team, right? Your mortgage person, title company, and Farmers Insurance is definitely not only a big name, but I, like anything, believe it's the person that you deal with. So Kim, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
Thanks we appreciate for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
Excited.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have done insurance for 14 years. I started with another company, and then I got a call from a farmer's district office that asked me to come be a trainer for them. So I was an agency business consultant. So I actually spent the last 4.5 years training other agents how to run an agency.
Nice.
Yep. And then I decided to, instead of being one of those that just taught other people, take a leap on myself, right? And go open my own agency, which I did in March of 2020, and I absolutely love it.
Nice. So in 2020, you opened your own.
March of 2020.
Which is cool. So you're still doing coaching and training. It's just your people.
Exactly.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. I love that. that. So the whole premise of our show is mindset, right? Mm-hmm. Our thoughts, the name of the podcast, we're still kind of kicking around some ideas, but we're thinking of like mindset, you can speak to your thoughts, because most people don't really realize that. So that's what we kind of want to talk about is, of course, what you do, how you help agents. We'll talk about some stories like that. But really just the mindset, like where your head was at, right? We just had one of the agents from Monument earlier that we interviewed. And so she was like, she went from teaching to real estate, right? And it was just a really hard time. And there, she was a breadwinner and just all the negative thoughts she was having. So like, I'm loving that you started your own business, because as agents, that's what we have to look at, is we don't look at ourselves as an employee, because you're not an employee anymore, right? You're going to get a 1099 at the end of the year, which means you have to do your own taxes. And you have to look at yourself, well, you don't have to, but we highly recommend, if you want to be successful, to look at yourself like a business, like an entrepreneur. So I love that you have your own company, so we can talk about that mindset. So let's talk about that. When you went from being an agent, from training and coaching, to like, okay, starting my own company, like what kind of thoughts were you having at that time, positive and negative?
Well, I'd say the negative one, of course, I was very nervous to take a shot on myself to be the person who had to bring in all the money, right? And to take that fear, and then to know that I opened March 2nd of 2020. Texas shut
right
down
before
on the 14th.
Oh, jeez, right before COVID shut everything down.
So that was really scary. I had an oh crap moment for sure.
Yeah.
And I definitely didn't even want to show up the next day, but I did. And that mindset of overcoming that fear to show up every day and do the activity, do the work that needed to get done, no matter what the bad is going on. Because believe me, that first 2 months, there was a whole lot of bad.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Yep. My staff got COVID. The book I was supposed to take over, it didn't go well on that part where I didn't get as many policies as I was supposed to.
The book of business you're talking about that you're supposed to get?
I was supposed to get 1,100. It ended up being 500. Big difference of the income you build your business around.
Based on those numbers, your income,
Yeah, and so my staff got COVID. She was out for 4 weeks. So I was in one-man band for a month.
And you have a family.
And I have a family. I went home terrified that I wasn't going to be able to make my mortgage, let alone the rent for the office and my staff's payroll. But I trusted in myself to know if I got up every day and I did the work and I did the calls, that it was all going to work out. And I had my spouse at home, thankfully, who was like, I promise this will be okay. It'll be okay. And
so he was speaking that?
100%. I heard it from him every day.
He had your back. That's huge.
100%. Having a partner, a spouse, or even a best friend, some kind of accountability coach that is there to tell you, trust that this is going to work out, that you're good at what you're doing. And that was a huge thing, because you have that devil on your shoulder. You talk about him all the time. And believe me, mine is very loud.
He was yelling?
I take medication to quiet him down. And I'm like, so that's hard.
That's awesome.
And he would tell me every day, hey, let's give it a try. Even if it doesn't work out at the end of 1 year, we'll take the hit. But you'll always wonder if you don't do this right now.
I agree.
And our little one is still little. He's like, this is the perfect time to take this chance. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. And
absolutely.
Now I even feel like sometimes I've inspired other people who are like, oh my gosh,
absolutely.
I want to do it now. One of my friends actually just became an agent last month, and I'm so excited for her. She was like, you made me feel like I could do this.
Oh, that's awesome. Where is she at?
She's in Allen.
Okay, so she's in Allen, just up the street.
So excited for her. She's in the middle of her first quarter. So.
But see, you said something important that I tell people all the time is like, I've tried stuff, right? Like I went to UTEP, tried out for the college football team. There's other things that I've done that people are like, oh, you're crazy. I would rather try it and know for a fact that I didn't make it or I did make it than wondering what if and be 90 years old in a rocking chair going, like honestly, like I'm single, but it's like I always tell my friends when they're like, oh, I'm not sure if the girl this and that, and they've been hanging out, I'm like, just kiss her. And they're like, what? I'm like, just kiss her. You'll find out if she likes you or not. If she likes you, she'll probably kiss you back. And if not, it's going to spur on a conversation of, hey, you're in the friend zone. What are you doing, right? But the not knowing is what kills them.
Yep.
And I'm just like, bro, like just, so it's back with business. I love where your head's at. I'm the same way. I would rather try it. And so let's go back. You mentioned like the little devil on your shoulder. You're right. That's the example I give. So most people usually tell me they're positive. I just made up my mind. I'm going to do it. And that's great. But let's talk a little bit, if you don't mind sharing. Again, we'll get as personal as you want.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that the negative, the devil was telling you that you were hearing that?
You're not doing enough. You're not spending enough time on this. Then you're not spending enough time at home with your kiddo. My kiddo's only 3, so that's a lot of pressure there. You're not doing enough on both fronts. I actually typed up something because as your own agent, you can pick if you're going to be there at 8 a.m. in the morning or if you're not going to show up at all and you're going to be out on the golf course.
That's right.
So I have a thing typed up right next to my computer where I can see it all day long as I'm making my calls, and it says, treat your business like a business if you want it to pay you like a business.
Ooh, nice. I love that. Will you repeat that?
Yeah, treat your business like a business if you want it to pay you like a business.
That's
and
huge.
I know I told
that.
Cody the other day, first attempt in learning is fail, right?
That's right.
And so we keep those on our board. I'd love for you to come to my office one day. We have an inspirational wall where one says grit, one says sacrifice, one says success. It's got 9 different ones. And it's got like the description and
that's cool.
It's just kind of like our little inspiration wall.
Yeah, of course.
But having those in front of me to know I could not show up. I could show up and I can say I'm busy and not doing the work that matters. Right.
The money-making activities. Yep. Yeah, we talked about that with the last guest, Ellie.
I tell my staff all the time, if it's not going to make us money today, next week, or next month, why are you doing it right now? Unless it's helping somebody that, of course, if it's helping a client and it's going to keep them in our books, that's making us money just in a different way.
Yes.
So that way, one of my girls, she'll take a piece of paper and she does it into a square of important, not urgent, urgent, not important.
Okay.
And separates it up so she knows, okay, what do I need to tackle first?
That's
and
smart.
What do I tackle last?
That's very smart.
So we always meet in the morning and we go through our list of what's most important, and then we put it in order and we say, what can you take, what can she take, and what can our service rep take? So that's kind
of cool to hear. So you're not a control freak at work. You delegate, which a lot of people no, man. It's a lot of people don't, right? Because they're perfectionists. And I'm preaching to the choir because I used to be. And that was my thing. I didn't want to delegate or give because it was like, they can't do it as good as me. And that's true, but there's only one of me. And I can't clone myself. So it's
the trust takes time though.
It does.
You have to train them the way you want it done. And I had to have the trust built where I saw my girls start to do it the way I wanted it to. Then it was easier for me to hand off.
To delegate the stuff.
Yeah, the trust has to be built. You're not just going to hand it off randomly, right? Because then you're like, oh. And
you set them up for failure, and that's not fair to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I see one, do one, teach one, and I am over their shoulder for a while, and sometimes they love it, sometimes they hate it, but then they're better for it.
Of course, for the long run. Well, and that's the thing, right? You're building a team. That's something that you want people that are going to be with you for years, not months, right? Because it just seems like in our culture now, people jump every year or two for jobs. So if you can get some good people, I know last time I was in your office, you have some young people, so that's good, right? So if they can see the money that can be made, the opportunities, that's very cool.
People don't leave jobs. They leave a situation. They leave a bad manager.
I agree.
They don't leave a job, right? Because people are lazy. It's like dating. You're not going to leave something that's an okay situation
Right.
normally, right?
Right.
You leave a bad situation. Or now I do have one staff member who's going to graduate school soon. She's going to go on to a new career. I've supported her doing that. She actually goes to class 1 day a week, but I pay her the same because I support that she's trying to better herself in that sense. So I'm excited.
But that's
for
huge
it.
because then you get such a buy-in from that person, right? They're like, wow, she actually cares about me.
Yep.
Not just because I'm an employee doing whatever for her, but just me as a person. And to me, right, one of the things I teach on is leadership. That is true leadership, right?
Yeah.
And to me, the simplest way to describe leadership a lot of times is it's discipleship, right? I'm just going to show you how to do it, right? I'm going to show you that I care instead of just talking about it or sitting from behind your desk just barking orders. And I know when I was in your office, it seems like you have a really good relationship with your girls.
Yeah. I mean, we go out for fun together, or one of the girls just got engaged. She came up to the office just so she could hang out with us and have breakfast and tell her about it.
Oh, that's cool.
We're both going to be in the wedding for her. I mean, we're a family there. And that's a culture you can't pay to get into. I mean, it's a feeling when you walk in.
That's very cool.
You know?
Yeah. No, and it just makes the day go by so much better
100%.
than just, because there's the places you walk in, like seriously, you can feel the tension, like you can cut it with a knife.
Yes.
I did not feel that in your office at all. So tell us a little bit about, obviously you do insurance, but again, just trying to highlight some vendors that we work with. So what would you tell the audience of how you can help them and what kind of makes you different?
Yeah, we do auto, home, life, and commercial. And the biggest difference is it's not just the product. We have an amazing product, but it's an agent that is going to walk you through it. They are going to put their money where their mouth is, that they're going to answer the phone when they say they're going to.
Right.
I do have staff that helps us out, and which is great. There are plenty of one-man bands out there. So I think that really sets the difference, is knowing that you're going to have somebody who's really going to be there and is going to care. I've picked people up on the side of the road before. I've helped him get a rental car, even if I had to drive it to him.
Wow.
I think
so just doing what it takes.
Yeah, I think those things matter. I would want somebody to treat me that way, right? The golden rule, right? So I think that matters.
Yeah.
Heck, I was out yesterday for a funeral, and I still answered calls in the car, and I was like, hey, I've got something going on. I want you to understand I'm not ignoring you.
Right.
But I will call you back first thing in the morning. And they understood that. They were like, you didn't even have to answer your phone. I'm like, I didn't want you to think that I was ever going to put you second place.
Blow you off or
anything like that. But I am dealing with a family thing right now.
Yeah.
So, and I think that that's important. People care. If you treat them right, they understand.
Well, and it just goes back to communication, right? Like it took you maybe, 30 seconds to do that, as opposed to, and that's the thing I tell agents all the time, right? I coach and train a lot of agents, and a lot of them will ask me like, okay, what is the secret? What is this? How can I make a ton of money? I'm like, you ready? Get their pen or pencil, like, all right, go for it. I'm like, answer your phone.
Yeah.
And do what you say you're going to do. Oh, come on. I said, I promise you.
There's so many that don't.
I know.
And you can't fake caring. You cannot fake caring. When I was an agency business consultant, that meant more than anything. Like, even though I don't do it anymore, on the way here, the reason I was late, I was on the phone with an agent who wanted help with something. Because they're still going to call me.
Right.
Because they can't replace that anywhere else. You can pay someone to do the job, but the caring, that only comes from a person within,
Right.
That's it.
No, that's true. And I think you have the same mindset, and that's why we get along, is that we're problem solvers, right? And so the reason why I recommend Kim is because, again, her action, right? She was highly recommended to me, and we just met a couple months ago.
Yep.
And so one of the agents that I work with at Monument, she'd reached out to me, I think it was Christmas Eve, right?
Yep.
Christmas Eve, freaking out that her deal was going to blow up because of insurance, right? They had all their debt ratio, all that stuff they'd gotten approved. Well, apparently this person had a couple claims. So when it came down to it, the insurance actually jumped up. Was it several $100s?
Oh, yeah. And
okay.
It was going to make it where the debt to income ratio,
they couldn't qualify for the house. Exactly.
Yep.
So it was quite a bit. I've never heard of a situation like that. So anyways, this agent's freaking out. And so I just kind of, in the middle of her telling me her story, I just kind of like went into coaching mode. And I was just like, look, I don't know why you're getting emotional. That's why they pay us, the agents, to not be emotional, right? We're supposed to take the emotion. We're supposed to be the professionals that handle stuff, right, logically. And so anyway, she just kind of stopped. And I said, you're a problem solver? I said, so your problem is the insurance is too high. I said, I'm going to send you Kim's information. And I told her, I said, I've never done business with Kim yet, but I just met her last week. She's come highly recommended. I said, call her, see what she can do for you. But if she cannot help you, I go, again, you're the agent, you're the problem solver. You get online, if you need to go to Google and call 20 different insurance companies and get 20 different quotes. Your problem is this is not closing in funding, right? Because of the debt ratio, like she was saying. So we have to get a lower insurance. So Kim was able, speak to it a little bit. You were able to help her.
Yeah, I called her and she was really upset. She was at home with her family. She had a sick little one. And I go, what info do you have? She literally had 2 things. She had the client's name, phone number, and I guess she had the address.
Okay.
And literally that was it. So within an hour, we had the coverage the way it needed to be. We were on the phone with the mortgage lender, getting them what they needed. And she texted me. She just assumed that it was going to fall apart.
Yeah.
She texted me like, hey, I was just checking in. And I go, I told you to handle your kiddo, that this was done and we're good. I'm already on the phone with the mortgage lender. It's taken care of. And she goes, are you serious? Like, because I think in her mind that she had probably like already, like most of us do, we count our eggs before they hatch, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
In her mind, that commission
She'd already cashed that check. She already spent that check.
Yeah. And so she thought, one person told her, oh no, you just need to let this fold.
Well, and that I was going to mention that. So that was actually a leader, one of the other leaders. I'm not going to mention their name, but another leader where we work said that. And so, yeah, I told the agent, I said, no, we're going to figure it out.
If you are an adult and you want to make this work, you find a way to make it work. And we did for them. And now that person has even signed up other insurance with us. And
oh, right on.
Yeah, it's been great. And we told him, like, we'll get you there what you need to make it close and do it the right way. The original quote she had from the other carriers for a home, and it ended up being like a duplex. It wasn't even done right.
Oh, my gosh.
So we were able to help him out. We worked with the mortgage lender, and so it was all good. But she was so thankful for that. And I said, no. That's what we do.
Right.
That's our job.
That's our normal. That's our normal.
Yeah,
right. That's our normal.
And it's okay.
It was Tuesday. That was a Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, you need to have people in your bank that you can ask for help on that.
Yes.
I wouldn't advise anybody on realty because that's not my job, but I have people I can rely on that can help me with that.
Correct.
And you need that. So when your customer comes up with a question, you know what? I don't know the answer, but I have someone and they're going to give me the right answer. So let me grab them.
See, and that's so smart because I tell the agents the same thing. They'll have people sometime ask them about accounting or how's this going to affect my taxes or legal advice. And it's like, that's not our wheelhouse. We're an agent. We're going to get you the best deal. We're going to negotiate for you, right? We're going to represent you. We're going to fight for you. But I'm not an accountant. I'm not. So it's like you have the same thing. Like, you know what you're good at. This is my lane. I stay in it, right? So you agents out there, don't be afraid if someone ever asks you legal questions or accounting to just be like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I represent you as far as your deal and negotiating with the other side, but I cannot give you legal advice. I cannot give you accounting or insurance. Honestly, when people ask me about insurance stuff, I'm like, call Kim.
Yeah.
Because one, I don't have to know everything because she does, right? And that's the other thing I tell the agents is like who you have on your team, right? Your mortgage person. Like, so like, for example, we're here at Benchmark Mortgage. Thank you, Tom Sherman, for letting us use your place here for the podcast. He's like one of the top guys in the nation because he's just amazing at what he does, right? He has the processes down, he has the people, but more importantly, he does what he says. Yeah. And that's what I've realized. It's integrity that makes the biggest difference, right? Like just some of the stories you've even mentioned here with helping people or picking them up on the side of the road. Like, you didn't have to do that. You just went the extra mile because 100%. Of who you are, right? Yeah. Being a good person, and then also that integrity, because we all have those times where something happens and you're like, oh, like what? You know, we all have the thoughts. And people think just because you have the thought, you're a bad person. No. If you take action on that bad thought, then you have the action of something bad or negative, right? But when that thought comes, you have the power to go, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
You do.
And just because you think about it for a little bit doesn't make you a bad person. You just can't choose to do that. You're going to say something.
You can't live in that self-doubt. You have to just push through it. And sometimes it's really, really hard. One of my staff members, we keep each other accountable on that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, even if we're having a bad day or a family's blowing up our phone, we go, you want to switch cell phones and tell me, as long as no one's dying, don't talk to me about it?
That's awesome. I love that. Switch cell phones unless someone's dying. Yeah. Yep. Unless there's blood. Yeah. Yep. Unless there's blood.
No blood, no foul. So sometimes we have to do that so that way we can work through our day. Yeah. And that helps us out personally just to cleanse it. We try to leave it at the door, right?
Yeah, of course.
And sometimes you need that person who can help you out.
Exactly. And that's the thing, man. I don't know, the older I get, it seems like it's harder to find good people. You know, and like that's the hardest thing to me is, especially in this industry, right? Like there's so many agents right now because the market is just crazy bonkers. Yes. And so it's like you can do anything you want, you know what I mean? But when you have integrity, that's when the biggest difference is. Yeah. Right? Because you're going to do the right thing when no one's looking. And so give us some examples of integrity where you've kind of had like, so, oh man, what should I do in a situation? There's
people who come to us all the time and they want home insurance and there's something, you know, wrong with the house or wrong with the roof is generally what is going on. And they want us to bind it, or they realize they put in a claim with their current carrier and they realize their coverage is not what they thought it was, that it's going to pay actual cash value.
Oh my gosh.
And they think, I've actually had a roofer who just randomly met me and sent it over, said, oh, just go write it with Kim and then you can file a claim. And we sent out an inspector for every home. So I asked them these questions. And as soon as I realized what was going on, I was like, sorry, I can't help you.
Right.
Like, your roof is trash. I can't write it. Even if I wanted to, I can't help you.
Right.
Once you get a new roof, then I can help you out. There are plenty of people who would, cut corners to do something like that. And it's not worth my license, my future, my income. This is my end game.
That's it.
I don't have
this
a
is what I'm doing.
backup
Yeah, there's no
plan.
plan B.
This is my career. And so it's not worth that one person, that one policy to try to cut a corner.
Absolutely.
I don't want that to ever be a fear. And there are plenty of people that do.
Yeah.
And that's not doing your client any justice. We actually had someone, it's an agent who was about to no longer be an agent. And someone went onto his website to do a quote. And he sent it over to me. He's like, hey, come help this lady because I'm not going to be an agent anymore. I'm not logging in or anything.
Yeah.
Well, the lady, before I could even call her, bound the policy online. And it was really bad coverages. She did minimums of everything. She put actual cash value on everything, which means you're not going to get paid what it costs to actually get the job done.
No way.
Yeah. And so we called her and we explained to her the difference. And she goes, this has just been so overwhelming. And I don't feel like I got help from my realtor or my mortgage lender on this. And I was like, well, I know realtors, I know mortgage lenders. If you need help with that, I can help you. So we literally walked her through the policy and what she didn't have, and we wrote her a way better policy. And it was like $800 more, but she was like, okay, I didn't realize how bad what I did was.
So she got the cheapest, yeah.
Yeah, and then she even let us quote her car insurance, and then I walked her through how an escrow account works because she was so confused. She was afraid she was going to have to bring all this money to the table, and she didn't know what it meant. And once we walked her through it, she was like, so appreciative, right? Because it felt like the weight was off her shoulders because everyone is talking in acronyms and everybody works so fast they don't want to take the time and just slow down and explain to this person who's a brand new home buyer how this actually works.
Right.
You would not believe how many people we talk to that get to us now that they're through the pre-qualification, they pick their perfect house, they're doing the home insurance, and they have no idea what's going to happen at closing.
A lot of them don't.
And we walk them through it and they're like, the fear is now gone. When people don't know the next step, they're terrified.
Of course.
They're terrified of the unknown. They're like,
course.
all I know, I'm supposed to show up
and sign and bring a check for $20,000. I know. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And they do it. That's what blows my mind.
Right.
They do. I know.
I
know.
I remember we bought our home when I was 19 and we signed all the paper and we were like, okay, where are the keys? No one knew. No one knew where the keys to our...
You're at the title company, close everything, and no keys. Yep. Nobody knew.
The worst part is we got through all the paperwork, and my realtor, after we're probably down about 30 pages, because it's a lot when you sign the paperwork.
Yeah.
We're down about 30 pages, and she leans over my shoulder and goes, the address is wrong. We waited for an hour while they retyped everything.
Them, and then you had
we had to start
everything
from scratch. And then once we finished, and we give her all the money, which... we only put $5,000 down.
Ooh, that's awesome.
We were it was 2008, and we were 19. It's all we had, and you only had to put 3% down at the time, and it was a brand new home. And we were like, where are the keys? And no one could tell us. We had to hurry from Dallas all the way to the home builder because the home builder had the keys and they were going to close at 5 o'clock. And we have all of our furniture in a moving truck.
Waiting. Yeah, of course. You just thought you'd get the keys and go move in.
And we're supposed to be out of our apartment on Sunday. If we don't make it there Friday by 5, we're like, what are we going to do? We're done with our apartment. And so my husband was like, I'm going to rush there. You take your time. And I'm like, go. I will drive the big scary truck in the middle of Dallas because you need to go.
And you hear stories like that, and this is why we always try to tell people, like with title companies, there's certain title companies that are like, oh, we're not going to close on time, just extend it 2-3 days. It's like, no. The moving truck is here. I have to be out Saturday from my place. You know what I mean? There's so many things.
So many people's worlds.
Yes. And they're just, again, they're behind a desk. So they're just like, so that's why like title companies are so important.
Yes.
Right? To get a good one. And again, for you agents out there, you got to have your team. You have to have your title company, your mortgage person, your insurance person, right? A good home inspector, like lawyer, like all these people are on your team to help you make your life easier. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of times people want to do business because it's their friend or a family member. And I get that. But sometimes the service isn't as good as it should be, or they, do stuff like we were saying, not integrity. And you're putting your license on the line. I mean, that's our fiduciary duty is to our client, not the paycheck. I know new agents, it's hard because a lot of you guys have spent thousands of dollars to get started. You've been going weeks, if not months, with nothing really closing or going on, and I get that. But I'm telling you, it goes back to your core, right? Like Ellie, the other episode we were talking about, you have to decide what you're going to do before you get to that situation or that circumstance, right? Have it made up in your mind, like, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to do the right thing. And I know sometimes at the exact time it's hard to do. But yeah, if you always do the right thing, right, you can't go wrong. And that's one thing I love about Kim is not only does she provide good service as far as insurance at competitive rates, but also she goes above and beyond. Like she helped me for, what were we there, 2 hours when you did my Facebook page for my business page, right? She'll help any agent. And it's not just me. Like that's the thing that sets her apart is she's good about that, right? And she's awesome. She was just like, give me the password, give me the name, and just I'll ask you a couple questions. And she did it all, which I loved. And like it looked amazing. Again, she can help you with your Google page and all that kind of stuff. So we've got a couple minutes left. How can you help, like what I was talking about? Yep. What are some other ways that you can help agents where they can reach out to you?
Different ways I help out agents. I will help you build your social media page. I will help you build your website if you want help with that, whether you're doing it from scratch or you want my 2 cents on how we can fix it to make it look better.
And she has great ideas. Believe me.
I enjoy it. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy the marketing side.
Oh, and you're good at it. Yeah.
I can set up your Google My Business page. Literally, your only homework is to bring in your logins because otherwise the meeting can run long while you're trying to figure out how to reset
because she's had people show up without them and they can't find them or remember it. Yeah.
Building out QR codes, whether you want one for your contact information or you want one for an open house. A lot of people don't want to touch things right now. It's easy to scan a QR code. I can show you how to set up that in a really nice way where you're going to collect that person's information. So they're not just getting your information because at the end of the day, we know you want their info.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can help you out with leads, whether you want to run an ad or you want me to run an ad for you. Whether it be for you, your mortgage lender, both of you together, anything like that, your roofer, whatever you need.
Yeah.
And then I can help you out with general marketing, how to get your name out there, how to, when an owner or a realtor company, they say, go out and meet people, and you don't even know what that looks like. I can show you the sphere that you need to fill up of the industries you do need to meet. And how that face-to-face should go, how you should talk to those people, and how that relationship should build.
Absolutely.
So that way you're actually building a lasting relationship that's going to turn into business. And then I'm trying to think. I have a list of other networking groups that I try to help you get your name out there, or if you want to build your own, how to do that as well. But anyway, that I'd rather teach a man to fish than to just hand you a fish. Granted, I know there's a lot of realtors who need to fish right now.
Absolutely.
But I try to build it long term so that way you can keep repeating the action to get you more business.
That's smart. And speaking to the audience, how can they get a hold of you? Name, phone number, email, website?
Kim Wallace. My Facebook is at Insure Frisco. So if you do the @ Insure Frisco, easy to find me there. I'm in Frisco at Main and Teal. My phone number is 469-604-4484. You can call or text anytime. We're always here to help.
And guys, I highly recommend Kim. Like I said, not only does she do good work as far as the insurance stuff, but social media is huge right now and it's free, right? So she can help you set up all that stuff, help you get your pages going. And then if you want to partner with her, right, then you guys can do some paid marketing, which she'll still help you with, right? And like, I don't know the first clue, I have a first clue idea about that, but she does. And again, this is where these partnerships come in, but it's a relationship. You can't just, well, you can, but it would not be right or integrity to just use her for all that and then never send her any business, right? This is a two-way street. Think about it. If you're dating someone and you're always the one giving, like that gets old pretty quick. And so whether it's your title company, an insurance person, the people that I'm going to have on the show, these are the people that I'm going to put in front of you that I know are great people. One, just a good person, and two, like they're excellent at what they do. So again, get in that relationship with them. If you don't have a good insurance person, then it's time to get one, to be honest with you, right? If your person's not doing some of the things that she's doing, come talk to her. She gave you all her social media stuff, her phone number to reach out to her. So thank you so much. I appreciate you being on the show today. So we always end with the last question, which is, if you could write a book about your life, what would the title of the book be?
Oh my goodness.
And why? No pressure. We only got like 30 seconds.
Overcome it. Is what I would say. Overcome it or let it go. I went through a lot as a child.
Okay.
And a lot of people are, when I tell them about my childhood, they're like, oh my gosh, and you're still normal.
I love that.
And so you choose every single day to get up and be positive about it or let it bring you down.
Oh my gosh.
And so
I love that. We're going to have you back on the show. This isn't enough time. So if you want to hear that story, just reach out to her and buy her lunch. And I'm sure she'll share that story with you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us again today on this episode. Just good people, right? And just, again, getting your head right, thinking of yourself as a business and not an agent. And there's just good stuff in store for the future if you have that positive mindset. So love you guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.